So we rolled for reserves. The Valkyrie and Vendetta both came in. One of them rolled for this side, and the other one was his choice, so he decided to bring it in to assist. And here they come. Here comes a big old can of whoop ass out of the Valkyrie and Vendetta. I think we're going to find out how Tyranid monstrous creatures feel about plasma.
I better kill something, because they're gonna die.
Okay, end of IG movement. He deployed Baston's squad out in the back of those woods and then moved the Chimera up. The two Valkyries, or the Valkyrie and the Vendetta, both deployed their troops, so I've got a pretty strong flank force coming up on this side. And that's a lot of plasma. Otherwise, he didn't move very much else. So the results of the shooting phase weren't quite as horrible as I feared. This unit was completely wiped out of termagants. Their feel no pain meant nothing, and Pask shot at them and left them just a little thin paste over the battlefield. The units over here shot at my Tyrannifex and inflicted 3 wounds on him, which I'm actually pretty grateful for, because I thought he was dead. This unit, well, both of these units of Termagants were killed by that squad of Flamers and that Valkyrie. Coming over here is a assault that will be incoming. He did not attack either of these units, and actually he left the pods alone. I guess they were kind of ineffective last turn, so they didn't strike much fear. These guys tried to steal the kill the Doom of Malantai, but he managed to live with 1 wound left, which is absolutely amazing to me as well. And then that was it. So we got an assault with the tanks and the Gene Stealers, who hopefully will work a little bit better this time. And we'll probably have this guy with a power fist rushing in to squish bugs. Pathetic. The commander?
Yeah, captain.
Captain charged the pod thinking he could destroy it, and instead they both just, well, he totally whiffed with a bunch of 1s and 2s, and my guy hit him once, but he got his armor saved, so no love there. Here, the Gene Stealers managed to get 6 penetrations on a stationary vehicle with 30 attacks, and did 4, 1, 2. So now it's immobilized and really shaken and stirred, and it's still just fine otherwise. They're just hoping that the swarm goes around them, which I think they will. Okay, on to the Tyranid turn. I've got 1 unit of Yumgarl Gene Stealers. Let's see if they come out. They do. They were in these woods. So going to deploy those. These guys moved up ever so slightly. They try to get just a little bit further away from what the Doom of Malantai is going to try to pull. These moved up that way ever so slightly and got feel no pain on them. These moved up, got feel no pain on them. This is heading up towards this unit and the Valkyrie, and these guys are coming to help hopefully finish those off after firing. That is about it. Kind of hoping that all of those guys shooting at that unit will wipe it out. End of Tyranid shooting. This squad got wiped. Unfortunately, is this the Valkyrie or Vendetta?
Vendetta.
The Vendetta was completely untargeted. Such is life. These guys, which I foolishly moved out this way to deal with the tank, barely had range back to this Valkyrie, but it was enough and they destroyed it. The 72 shots from Termagants took out the unit. We didn't even bother rolling that. There is a demoralizing effect from saying I have 72 shots. The pod that could fire tried to take a shot at the tank. He did hit. I've been really lucky with my area of effect, my templates, because I've rolled hits on almost all of them. I think I've missed with 2 of them. And then this pod broke that tank, and the Doom of Malanthai completely wasted the Ratlings, and then dropped a template at high risk to his danger closeness, but managed to do devastating damage to the command squad there with Bastogne. Veteran squad. And that was everything that happened in shooting phase, so life is good for the bugs. Moving on to assault, the young girls are going to go into the Bastogne squad. The rest of those Gene Stealers are going to divide up on the remaining tanks, and then we'll have a fight between the captain, and the pod, and I think that's all that's going to happen. I probably should be more aggressive with my monstrous creatures, but they are staying alive, so yay. Oh, and I put Feel No Pain onto the Tyrannifex, thanks, and that squad, which I think I will want to be able to hold an objective. Okay, so the results of this nonsense are that the 2 tanks are destroyed. The one blew up and killed a few Gene Stealers. Now this was the most pathetic fight of all. The young girl came out of torpor and decided, you know, all this fighting just seemed so tiring, and went back to sleep. They got a 2 on their charge and didn't quite get into combat. The Doom of Malanthai charged, managed to kill 1. The guard attacked back and completely whiffed. So that was the most disgusting sissy slap fight in the history of guard and Tyranid fights.
Leslie.
Yes. Over here, the Spore Pod and the captain died in each other's arms, and you know, it's a beautiful story. And that is it. The Tyranids feel pretty good about the turn. They killed 2 of his troops' choices and got rid of both of the tanks. There's still 1 tank over here. The command squad is still alive and attacking the Doom of Malanthai, which I believe he'll get...
It's a veteran squad.
It's a veteran squad. I don't know why I think that just because they have an awesome commander, they're a command squad. Let's see. He still has 1 Vendetta to bring in with a pretty nasty veteran squad also. Alright, so these guys again failed massively. The unit failed to wound the Doom of Malanthai. Did 1 wound. They passed their leadership test, and at this point he's pretty certain he can't win it, and I'm pretty sure too. I've got troops all over the place, and I'm going to get to shoot down those birds next turn. The tank was stunned. It's probably just going to get stunned again. Well, I don't know, but it can't really go anywhere. Yeah, so I think the strategy was successful. Brooker, what are your thoughts?
That was just too much. I couldn't focus on anything. It overwhelmed my target selection. If I'd have focused on the hard things, the Hive Guard, the Tyrannifex, the Gribblies would have eaten my face. So really, and also I took a list that was too hard, too mechanized. I should have brought more troops. Made it a little bit more difficult, but well, you live and learn.
I was pretty happy with how all of this worked out. The goal was to make sure that nothing had to run across the table and get shot to pieces, which is how he just utterly destroyed my army last time. He definitely should have had more troops choices just in case this scenario came up. In terms of kill points, it would have been 1 tank, 2 tank, Ratlings, 3 tank, 4 tank, a Vendetta,
2 squads.
2 squads. Yeah, so that was a whole lot. I lost 2 units of termagants that had spawned, 3 units of termagants that had spawned, and that was it. So Feel No Pain is awesome. Termagants is awesome. Really, that list worked really well. And just being able to say I have 72 shots going at a unit is just a wonderful feeling. I mean, it's an expensive unit, but not that expensive. I guess 120 points each. Definitely need to get more termagants. So here's just a little bit more post-battle discussion. The big thing to realize is that Travis's army really got hosed by the scenario that came up that we randomly determined. His army was definitely not built for seizing 5 objectives or for the Dawn of War scenario. Having a heavily mechanized army like that means that if you come in, the fact that you moved is already spoiling some of your shots. If you have to move far, like his vendettas do, you lose even more shots. His vendettas, unfortunately, can't even fit on the table in a 6-inch move, which I think is kind of silly, but that's the way they fact the rules. And yeah, that's FAQ. The scenario required him to have more troop choices than what he took, and part of the game is building your army to do whatever needs to be done. So I took 5 troops choices. The Termagants count as troop choices as long as you have a unit of Termagants, which really isn't very much of a requirement. So I was in great shape. I was actually churning out more troop choices every turn that could help me win the game. Termagants aren't really very powerful, but they do require being shot at, and when you only have a finite number of units and the other guy has more units than you do, you got to start worrying about shot selection. So that was the other problem that he had, was that many of his units started out inside of transports and they weren't available to put their shots out on things. So really, if he had had a more standard deployment, either Spearhead or I can't remember what the other one is even called, but he would have been able to have his troops on the battlefield, have their firing lanes already picked out, and would have been able to get a lot more shots off early on in the game. I'm not saying that would have been necessarily a win for him, but it would have at least given him a lot more opportunity to do some damage than what he had. My list did what I wanted it to do. It didn't quite... The spores were a little weak the turn they deployed. They actually didn't destroy anything. They had opportunities, but just didn't quite work out. I couldn't get the penetration rolls, or when I did get him, he got the cover saves against it. So luckily the Tyranids came up and did destroy the Chimera that had his command unit on the first turn, and I had a unit right there that was able to shoot at the command unit and essentially remove its effectiveness. It was very much neutered by the 36 shots of the Termagants with Devours. Termagants with Devours are great. I think that if you are willing to shoot it out as a Tyranid, then that is a way to go that's very effective. They are only 10 points each. You can give them Feel No Pain if you got a Termagant around, and 18-inch range means you can shoot from outside of the enemy's rapid fire range, which is really important. The Hive Tyrant didn't really do much. Its big contribution was enabling my Gene Stealers to flank and making sure I got all those troops out on turn 2. I only had 1 unit of reserve troops that didn't come out, and that's pretty cool. I mean, that's really nice. It overwhelms his shot selection when he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fresh units appearing within his lines on turn 2. So that was a beautiful thing. And the spore pods 60 points each if you give them a venom cannon. I think the venom cannon is really important because, you know, okay, I've deployed him, I've put him next to his tanks, they're trying to bash on it, or at least his transports. His tanks turned out to be pretty much immune to it, unless I had been able to drop directly behind him. So that was one advantage that the Dawn of War did give him, was that they had no choice but to land on the side of his tanks. His tanks hadn't come on far enough that I could drop behind them safely. So, you know, the venom cannons ended up doing significant damage on the third turn. They killed one Chimera, and they... what was the other thing they did? They killed a Chimera. Oh, and they stunned the Leman Russ that was on his left flank. And so both of those things are very useful. It would have been nice to be able to do a little more damage on turn 2, but I really can't complain because he also had a pretty bad turn 2 as far as shooting. And that was the funny thing, is that outside of the Gene Stealers, I did no melee combat that was effective at all. My Doom of Malantai ended up charging into combat, and you know, he held up that veteran squad, and that's probably a good thing because I think he had a bunch of plasma in it that would have been shooting at whatever it wanted to shoot at. So he did a good job of surviving. It's just a really great tactic. I really am in favor of not getting shot at as a Tyranid player. And the only thing that I might have wanted to add to the army would have been a Trigon Prime, where I could have gotten Synapse in amongst all of those deep striking troops. I didn't roll for Synapse, which is really embarrassing, but we all forget rules, and I'm really new to playing this. The would not have made much of a difference because almost everything that happened would have happened anyway. The only thing that might have happened is on that last turn where I had 72 shots. It's possible I would have only had 36 shots at his second command unit. However, 36 shots still on average I think would have caused either 4 or 6 wounds to that unit, and that would have essentially eliminated its effectiveness. It might have still had a commander left in it, or a captain, since I can't quite remember the nomenclature for the different armies. Battle report wise, I didn't do a great job of capturing all of the action. I like the narrative style that I see a lot of other people doing, but I also wanted to try to catch more of the conversation around the table. You know, it's a trade-off. I might try a narrative one next time. I hope you've enjoyed it. I definitely would look forward to any comments that you guys have. And I'll be doing another one soon. I'm sure Travis is going to be looking for revenge. I'm sure the next game's going to be a lot more competitive. I'm going to go ahead and let him pick either the deployment or the scenario that he wants to do. I'm sure Travis is going to have whole new levels of whoop-ass to put down against my army. But I will be able to survive, at least to do significant damage to him next time. Again, drop pods, drop pods, drop pods. I've not seen many battle reports with Tyranids using them, probably because there aren't official models for them that are easily available. I think Forge World might have some, but the artichokes work beautifully. They're the right size, they're the right shape. Really, they look like they're built for dropping out of space anyway. I'm going to, you know, be looking carefully at my artichokes in the future based on. You can get those at Michael's. I think I spent $10 each on those, maybe even less. It's just artificial flower pieces and artificial artichokes. And I can't recommend it highly enough. So one last thing, I want to give a huge shout out for Matt at miniwargaming.com. This guy has done a lot of battle reports using bugs that I've watched, and I would have never taken a Turvagon just looking at their stats. I didn't respect their spawning ability very much, I didn't respect their attacks very much, and really they are an awesome model for the Tyranid army. Anything that gives out feel no pain to whatever model, whatever unit you want, is really effective. Thank you, Matt, for doing all those bat reps. Really appreciate it, and I don't know if you get much feedback on those things, but Excellent. Everyone go check out miniwargaming.com. They do good stuff. Thank you very much. I had a great time doing it. I hope you had a great time watching it. And let me know what you think. I'll probably try to have another one up in a couple of weeks.